I wanted you to know I am enjoying my holiday weekend. I'm currently in Philadelphia for my high school reunion. I'm at the reunion. It's starting to happen behind me, all the way back there. So I'm doing good. Still a little down, but this brings up my spirits. My class sponsor, Italian teacher, just got here. It's so great to see her. Having a good time so far. Right now, just running around. But it is my high school reunion. It's 20 years. Let's see if you can get a shot of the cake. I'm having a good time. For now, we party. Hey ladies, it is cycle 19, day 15. Welcome. It's Tamika TTC. All right, so I'm back from my reunion. If I played my cards right, you saw some images from the reunion on the way in here. A good time was had by all. I was on the planning committee, so it was a little bit of work for me, and a lot of fun. So everyone had a good night. They were incredibly grateful. All right, so I'm just leaving my RE's office. This is the first of 3 appointments that I have today. But he was sorry that we weren't meeting on better terms. I think I mentioned in a previous video what I thought he thought would be the cause of why my embryo didn't implant. My initial thoughts would be 1, my weight, 2, my age, and then my third is just stress. So he didn't mention my weight as a reason why. He didn't specifically mention my age as the reason why. What he mentioned instead was that there have been studies about mitochondrial DNA. So he's given me this to read, but basically saying that women who have had PGS normal, chromosomally normal embryos, in, I guess, perfect conditions with high quality, right? This is specific to high quality. And which mine was a 5-day 4AA, so that is a high quality PGS normal embryo. And why they don't implant, the suggestion here is that the amount of mitochondrial DNA in those embryos was high, was considered to be high. But what that means is I know I've talked about mitochondria before, but essentially mitochondria are like the batteries, right? Your cells require energy. Mitochondria is the little one cell organism that provides that energy. When the mitochondrial DNA is higher, that means there is more mitochondria present, and that is actually a bad thing. So what mitochondria will do is try to replicate itself. When there is not enough energy, it will start to replicate itself repeatedly in order to beef up the energy for the cell. Mitochondria has its own DNA. I believe I mentioned in a previous video about watching a documentary where they talked about a 3-parent baby, where they would take the nucleus from an older woman and place it in an ovum of a younger woman, removing the younger woman's nucleus. So our DNA is in the nucleus of that oocyte. So mitochondria has its own DNA. So, but it's also generational, which means we inherit the mitochondria from our mothers. So what happens is, let's say me as an older woman, and then there's a younger woman who provides a donor egg. My nucleus from my egg would replace the nucleus in the donor egg. So the baby would have my DNA. However, the mitochondria, which is in the rest of the egg, would be of the donor. So that's how you kind of get the 3-parent baby, because then there's the father that provides the sperm. So technically, the baby will have the DNA from 3 different people. My actual genetics, the mitochondria, which is inherited from the donor, and then the father's genetics. So it's very sciencey or whatever, but he was saying you can't necessarily extrapolate anything definitive, because in this particular study, the number of blastocysts that were used in this study was 199. So it's a very small sample. And it just says, what is known already, better methods of embryo selection leading to IVF outcome improvement are necessary, as the transfer of chromosomally normal embryos of high morphological grade cannot guarantee the establishment of an ongoing pregnancy. The quantity of mtDNA, I'll put that down here, in embryonic cells has been proposed as a new biomarker of viability. Higher levels of mtDNA, that's the mitochondrial DNA, associated with reduced implantation potential. So this is just the abstract. So the question here that they were trying to get is, can quantification of mitochondrial DNA, the mtDNA, in trifectoderm biopsy samples provide information concerning the viability of a blastocyst, potentially enhancing embryo selection and improving IVF treatment outcomes? The summary answer is, this study demonstrated that euploid, that's a PGS normal tested embryo, euploid blastocysts of good morphology but with high mtDNA, mitochondrial DNA levels, had a greatly reduced implantation potential. So what does that mean? So there are labs that are developing tests for the level of mitochondrial DNA. So the lab that tested my ERA sample does this kind of testing, okay? They can, basically what they do is, if you decide to do PGS testing on your embryo, they take the biopsy from that embryo. They can use the same sample to do the PGS testing and the mitochondrial DNA testing. So one thing that I might consider is perhaps, if I have to go through another retrieval and PGS testing, since it's not an extra biopsy or anything, maybe I will ask if they can use this lab so that I can get the MITO score, which is what my lab, iGenomics, calls it. They call it a MITO score. So that's something to consider, to see if that is an issue. I think I'm like an information hog, man. I just want to know all I can know. I don't know how expensive that particular test is, but since they can use a sample that I'm already giving them anyway, I don't see the problem in handing over a few extra dollars, and there might be a few extra $100. Sorry, alarm. It might be a few extra $100 to get that test done. So I'll have to see into that, but that would only be an alternative option, provided I do another retrieval. So he really couldn't think of. He said we've basically done everything we could possibly do. And I want to get going because I have another appointment at 1:30 and I got to fill out some paperwork. But I wanted to sort of read off some stuff here. So he said we've done everything we could possibly do aside from doing a medicated transfer. There's really not a whole lot else that we could do different. The other thing that he told me is that when they did my beta, when he tests HCG, he also tests my level of progesterone. My level of progesterone was 2.2. It was extremely low. Even during my IUIs, when I was on a lower level of progesterone, my progesterone was way higher than that. So his thought on why I bled through the progesterone is that this formulation of progesterone, my body did not absorb well, which is why I got the bleeding. During my IUIs, my cycle did not start until I came off of the progesterone. So, that's likely why I started to spot, because the embryo didn't implant. My cycle, I wasn't absorbing the progesterone despite the high level of the suppository, and he thinks that I really should do injectable progesterone, since that goes straight to the bloodstream, and my body would basically register that better. But this formulation here just wasn't working for me at all. The previous kind of, I mentioned before that the previous kind of progesterone that I was on was a compound formula from the pharmacy. My insurance is not covering compound formulas anymore. So instead of paying out of pocket $300 and some odd dollars for that, then we just had to go with something else. But he just said I just didn't absorb that formulation of progesterone. So I think he's kind of on board for me doing the progesterone and oil shots at this point, even if I have to do them myself. But he's trying to convince me that they're uncomfortable and this is that and the other. Like, dude, I get it, but let's do what we need to do here. You want me to find somebody to give me the shots? I don't need anybody to give me the shots. I can give myself the shots, but thanks. So anyway, we are going to do some blood work. I convinced him to do some blood work, and so what we're going to do on my cycle day 21, so that's Monday, I'm going to go into LabCorp, and so we're going to test my natural progesterone. He is also doing a metabolic panel. He's doing testosterone, women, children. He is testing my thyroid. I suggested to him because he had not retested my thyroid, so he put that on here: thyroid antibodies, thyroid peroxidase, and T4. He's not doing thyroxine T4 free, but I don't know. He is testing my TSH, third generation. He's also testing my vitamin D. That was also my suggestion. He is also testing. I asked him about natural killer cells. He's added that here. He is also testing my blood. So he is doing the lupus anticoagulant profile, the anticardiolipin, the antiphosphatidylserine, whatever that means. I have to look the stuff up. Factor 2 mutation, factor 5 lydine mutation, homocysteine. He's also testing me for the MTHFR mutations to see if I'm not absorbing folic acid. He's also testing my A1C and my fasting insulin. My A1C is great. I know it was 6.3 the last time they tested it in the doctor's office, but he's added it. He didn't ask me when the last time I had my A1C tested, because I could have told him and saved him this. But whatever, he's asking for it here. So his plan as far as going forward, he said he's had a lot of success with failed transfers and doing an endometrial biopsy in the cycle prior to the transfer. So similar to an ERA, it's not exactly an endometrial scratch, because that's something you would get like in the same cycle as the transfer. But he said it's basically the biopsy, just like the biopsy I had for the ERA. But he said, oh, you did really well. And I was like, yeah, I almost felt nothing. And he said some women come in and it's like, oh, it's the worst pain in their life. I know a lot of you women have said getting that biopsy was like the worst pain in life. But I literally had no pain. Maybe a few seconds of extremely sharp pain. Maybe I just have a high pain tolerance. I don't know. But that's his plan. So basically, I would get this blood work done on cycle day 21, which is Monday, and then Friday I would come in here for the biopsy, which would be right before my next cycle starts. That would be cycle 20, and then we would do a medicated transfer that would have. So we would start medication with my next cycle, and do a medicated FET that should happen in mid-January. So that is his plan. So as of right now, that's what we're moving with. I'm not opposed to it if he thinks it'll help. As I said, the embryo that I have is a weaker embryo, but still a pretty decent quality. It is a 4BB, but it was a day 6 4BB. So that's the plan forward, I guess. But it was a long conversation. He's going to email me or call me, one or the other. I don't even know if they have my email on file. But he basically is going to contact me with the dates and what all that looks like, because while I don't have any travel coming up in January, you know, there might be like a working weekend or something like that I need to make sure sort of matches up. So we need to get that together. And then I need to make sure that he submits my pre-authorization on time. If we're going to do that. So he did mention, I mean, the scale, listen, I was flying, it was Thanksgiving, and getting a BFN is not fun either. So you know, it is what it is. My weight is up. He's just like, oh, you gained 9 pounds since the last time I saw you. What's going on? Well, Thanksgiving. 2, I literally just came in this morning off the plane, so I'm bloated from that. And then 3, getting a BFN is not fun. So I ate what I wanted to eat. It is what it is. I'm not gonna make any apologies for it, you know. So that's that. So the next appointment I have today at 1:30, which I need to find me some food and get back there and fill out some paperwork, is a consultation with a new RA. So I can't remember if I mentioned this in the previous video or not, but I need fresh eyes. I need fresh eyes on what I've been through, and thoughts on what I should do next. I think I will do this next transfer. I mean, we'll see. For the time being, since this next transfer would be in January, which is when it would have to happen anyway, because this cycle is basically over. I think the timing there, as far as getting things started, I'm sorry it's dark, I'm under an overpass. The timing there as far as getting things done, and just going in with the transfer with the least amount of like stress and headache, is easier to just work with him than trying to, you know, kind of talk to him and, you know, rent a tank and pick up my embryo. I mean, I've already paid for the storage with him, you know. I feel like that is easier. Let's just get this transfer done with him. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then I'll have an option to go elsewhere for my next retrieval, depending on how the consults go. So I think I will. I mean, I'll definitely take this consult this afternoon. Depending on how that goes, I may take a few more consults between now and January, to see how other things go. But I have a lot of important questions for the new RE. One of them being where are like the procedures being done, because in trying to make the appointment with her, I realized the clinic she's associated with is mostly in Jacksonville, which is 2 hours away, and she's the only doctor that is here in Orlando. So if she's the only one here, I don't know if she has a whole embryologist staff and all of that great stuff here in Orlando or not. So if she doesn't, and I have to trek all the way to Jacksonville to get my transfer and my retrieval and all of that stuff done, that ain't really gonna work out so great for me, because, you know, I do my acupuncture, and if I want to use my acupuncturist, who's been seeing me for months now, then, you know, having to go 2 hours away to get my transfer done or my retrieval done just is not really conducive to that. So, you know, some serious questions there. But I really just do want her opinion on, you know, my numbers, my blood work, what she thinks could be the issue with why I lose so many embryos in the process of growing them. So I'd really like an opinion on that, and what she might do different, maybe in my protocol for stemming. You know, I'd be interested to see that. So yeah, a lot to think about. It's going to be a lot of information coming in today. I'm off today, so, but it's like I'm off, but I'm running. So yeah. so much to do, and I'm trying not to be like stressed, and I'm tired because I got in like 1 o'clock, 1:30. I got home about 1:30 this morning, and then I was up. I was was up till 4:30 editing the video that I'm going to premiere tonight. So I know this is like 2 weeks ago, but I'm basically going to premiere. This video is the final results of my FET, which by the time you see this video, you already know that it didn't work. But that's what this is. So, boy, oh boy. But yeah, so it's a busy day. I think we have a pretty decent path forward. We're testing some important things. I don't know if these are things that should have been tested prior. But, you know, it's like you don't know until you know. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll have my consult and oh, Chipotle's open. I'll have my consult and we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm gonna go in here and into Chipotle. This is a new Chipotle, so the food should be really good, and get some food and head back to the house, get this paperwork together, and then run out to my next appointment. And then I will talk to you probably on my way from that appointment to my primary care physician appointment, which is literally right after that. So catch you guys later. Bye. Hey ladies, I'm back. Okay, so I ended up only having 2 appointments today. Why? Because here I was thinking that my new RE consult was at 1:30, when in fact it was at 1 o'clock. By the time I realized it was 1:15 and I had not left my house yet. So we had to reschedule. We've rescheduled for next week, Thursday. So stay tuned for that. All right. Primary care physician was just a follow-up. Mainly about my blood pressure, just to make sure the meds were working, and she's happy with where my blood pressure is for now. No changes to the meds. I keep doing what I'm doing, and she wants to see me back in 3 months. These people are so incredibly rude. So yeah, I'll go back in 3 months. Hopefully I'll be pregnant by then. That'll be February. Kinda, oh, he's got Assassin's Creed logo on his truck. I'm a true gamer, y'all. Alright, so hopefully I can stop being a broken record and actually like be pregnant. But yeah, so I had a thought from the earlier clip. So remember I was telling you that the RV was saying my body didn't absorb the progesterone suppository. I had an afterthought, and that was, did my body not absorb that formula of progesterone, or was I under such a tremendous amount of stress that my body blocked the absorption of progesterone in general? Something to think about. Something to think about. But yeah, that's all the detail I have for today, folks. I will have to catch you on the flip side. I think, as you can see, I took out my magic hair. I didn't get a chance to wash it, so this is like the crinkly hair from the cornrow braids that was under it. So I'll wash it later on tonight, and keep a lookout for the video, the installation video that will come. A number of you ladies asked for it. I will provide it. All right, so other than that, like I said earlier, I am posting the my final results from this transfer video tonight. Again, that happened already, so you already know that, but I'm just letting you know where we are in the phase of time. And I'm going to do that in the form of a premiere. So that's what I'll be doing this evening. I'll be on sort of a live. We'll watch the video together. I'll be available for comments and all of that great stuff. So that's my first time doing a premiere, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm gonna jump in there and see what it do, because it's a new feature on YouTube. I want to try that out. Alright, so Sticky Baby, that's to all those TTC.